Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Finally, a senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. And remember, no matter who you are valid. Thumbs up for that. I am so far at an angle that I cannot see over to my monitor to make sure that I am centered, so I can only hope and guess. I also have things written down because ADHD brain. But I'm going to start off with I had a cardiology appointment today, which I set up for myself just last week. I was amazed. It was like that fast. So that was fun. But I wanted to discuss the results of the ultrasounds on my legs that we had done for the circulation. And before, they had told me I had had a blocked vessel in my heart, and they were going to monitor that. And I was wondering, what am I supposed to be monitoring? Whether or not I fall down and die? So he went and took a look at stuff and then came back and said, number one, the ultrasound for up here looked clear. So they're setting up a stress test. So we're going to see if there's any actual blockage that way. But the ultrasound looked clear to them. So that's good, but confusing. So joy on that. But the circulation thing, the place I did it at was at a hospital in Olympia, the capital of Washington State, and only 20 minutes away by car. They were supposed to send the results here. Apparently they didn't. So the cardiologist is going to get in contact with them to get the results so that they can tell me what happens. I need to contact the people to get a stress test scheduled, that's the word, and then that'll be taken care of. And that'll be good. So that's the status of that. Definitely a thumbs up. I had set it all up, and it was just that I could find out things and get information. Yay. So, checking over here. This is kind of a big one, so I'm going to talk about this one. It's what it leads up to. Because a lot of the titles that I put on my video stuff, if you ever watch them, I'm mocking myself. They are self-effacing. That's, oh God, what's that word where you put the joke is on you that you're making. I can't remember what the heck that word is, but a lot of the time, like yesterday's was fixated on consuming human flesh or human meat. And that was me making a meta comment, a commentary on how I seem to be fixated on that. Now, where was I going with this? So let me talk over there. Let me look over there. Okay. So there's that. While it's not violent, it is not pleasant about the stuff that I talk about. And I do talk violently. I mean, violently in a non-violent fashion, if that makes sense. Because when I talk about my cryptid setting, I talk about how they can consume an entire human being. Just bite, rip, chew, swallow. Keep that up until there's just scraps, pieces, and then they're licking up all the spilled fluids, and then you're gone. So while I'm not speaking violently, I'm speaking somewhat dispassionately about very violent and horrible things. And then, of course, I have talked about how I find death as humor funny, of course, because it's humor, but a lot of people don't find death ever funny, but a lot of good jokes are death-oriented. And before we go any further on this one, I'm thinking specifically of a video from 10 years ago that I did a reaction to. I cannot remember the name for the love of everything that's holy. But The joke of it was the main character, the singer of the music video, was going through and violently murdering each one of the guests in her home and then dumping their bodies on the growing pile of corpses. It was a pretty funny video about a whole bunch of people being violently murdered. And there are all sorts of sorts of jokes. From the original one of these National Lampoon vacation type jokes where, you've seen like Ed Helms, who was playing the dad in one of these, and he's flirting with this gal who's driving next to him, and then wham, a car comes and smacks into him. They're dead. And then there's, I can't remember how many shows where, they're the mean girl that's the bad person of the film gets hit by a bus. We use death as humor a lot. And I find that funny. Do I find death itself funny? No. But you can use it as an effective punchline. And I use death as jokes just on that. But there's reasons for everything that we do, whether we know them or not. Death is coming for each and every one of us. There is a black wall of oblivion that is racing towards us. Or, if you're the sort of person that sees it in the other direction, there is a black wall of oblivion that we are all marching toward. But it's going to get each and every one of us. But I know from analytics from before and from people talking in comments, I am, if not significantly older, if much older, or just older than a large portion of the people that watch. And for that, I am so grateful that you do. Thumbs up and thank you. But the point is, while that black wall of oblivion is getting terrifyingly close to me, it's still coming for you too. It's not going to stop once I'm dead and gone. It's going to keep a-coming. And then you're going to run face first and do it as well one time. And then you're not here either. So it's coming for all of us. Nothing we can do to stop it. All we can do is try to slow down its approach by eating healthy, exercising, good habits, such like that. We can't stop it. All we can do is alter our perception of it, and thus how we react to it. If your perception is one of terror, you're going to be terrified by death. And you're going to live your life in fear of it. There's a portion of that in me. But what I've been trying to do most of my life, and especially these days, is since I can't change the reality, all I can do is change my perception. And by laughing at death, it helps remove some of the sting. I can't stop it, but I can change how I react to it. And if I can react by laughing, that's a good thing. I don't know if you've ever watched any of those videos where there was this one video of a funeral for, I believe it was an Irish fellow, who, as he was being don't quote me on that. That's my memory, and I have bad ADHD brain. But as he was being lowered, the sound that was played was of like bang, 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 let me out, as he was being lowered, because that's what he wanted to do. Make people laugh at the end and not be so sad. That is something to aspire for. So, when you see me talking violently, and you hear about the horrible things that I say about my fellow human beings when it comes to dismemberment and consumption, and I write the things on there, like on the subject lines for my videos while they're playing that says, "Boy, I can't wait to axe murder and eat someone." It's all to change my perception, just so that I'm not living in fear. And trust me, looking in the mirror, I'm still 18 behind my eyes. And so looking at my non-18-year-old body and feeling my non-18-year-old pains and dealing with my non-18-year-old health issues, yeah. For everybody still watching, thumbs up and thank you. It is appreciated. What else do I have up here on my list? I have cardiology visit. I have my violent talk. Let's talk about this one. I was watching a video about how a lot of horror mods for Minecraft just don't work for the perception of the person making the video. And I agree. Because when you see the bad guy in a horror film, that immediately robs the horror of a lot of its horror, because it takes it from your imagination and shows you what somebody else thought, and that's always going to be slightly less. Gods above. Okay, horror mods. And in these mods that the person who was talking about showed, the monster, the bad guy, was always immediate. Right there, either rushing up to attack or it just a block away watching you. And that just robs them of all their mystery and their horror. It just becomes, oh, it's a monster, instead of, oh, what the heck is going on? I feel worried about what's happening. And they mentioned something about playing it subtle and doing, I can't remember exactly what it was that I had to write it down to talk about it, but it was what I've been talking about in if I was making one of these liminal type games. You be subtle, not in their face. Like if you're chopping wood, after you've stopped and it goes chop, chop, pop, you hear a pop after you're done a little bit away. No other chopping, that it stops when you do, but they were a little bit behind. When you're splashing in fluids, you stop, water splash sound stops, then it continues for just half a beat, but not real close. When you're down in a cave, you hear footstep while you're stopped on the other side of a larger area where it's dark. All this subtle stuff, liminal type stuff, not in your face. No, this is not a grand horror mod, but it is a keep you feeling creeped out type of mod. If I knew how to make mods and program, but I can't hyperfixate on it long enough to do so. I've tried learning Python, but then I get fixated on other things. And this was back before I knew I had ADHD. So, yay. What else do I have written down over here? Oh, let's go on to this one. I did buy size 11.5 boots. I can't remember if I talked about that part. I put the orthotics in them. The orthotics fit perfectly. I put my feet in them and I started to walk. When I'm wearing the Dr. Scholl inserts with silicone heel cups on top of that, it hurts. But there are long periods where I can walk where the pain level is ignorable. This to the point that I'm good at minor pains. To me, minor pains is just, oh yeah, I have forgotten it hurts. That sort of thing, because it's always there. Ugh. But that's me always forgetting and then remembering. But the problem is my toe. So I can walk for a long period, but my toe that rubs up against the upper edge of it and blisters out makes it so I can't. So I bought the size 11s. 11 and a half. Walking on those, my toe is fine. I've walked from here to Walmart and back, and my toe did not have a single issue. I am not having my toes rammed into the front part of the boot. And oh my God, my heel. Once again, it was like someone had cut me with a butcher knife across the back of my heel. It was horrific walking there and back. I had to do my laundry. I was limping from here to the community center and back. I haven't had to limp in a long time. I'm wearing the size 10.5 with the Dr. Scholl inserts and silicone heel cups because I didn't want to deal with the butcher knife cutting the back of my heel pain on the size 11s. I don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do? Well, I can't wear one size, but then you change to the other size, and that doesn't work either. So right now I've got the 2 pairs of boots that I'm going to alternate between, which could be what makes it worse. Because my heels have had time to get used to these Dr. Scholl with inserts. Because at first, when I had the orthotics and the other boots, I didn't have orthotics then. Now I can remember how it worked out. God, I love having a brain. I love having a damaged brain. I love not being able to think or remember stuff. I wish I could take Ritalin. I could think. I could remember stuff. But the fact that I was on Ritalin is why I'm on a fair amount of blood pressure medications right now. I don't know if I'll ever be able to stop. I think my system's just permanently revved up from it. Oh, goody. So let me take a look and see what else I have. Because, yeah, the boots and the heel, it's terrible. Oh, yeah, it's like gotten used to this. Maybe the problem is I'm not letting my heel get used to the size 11.5. So maybe I should deal with the butcher knife pain and not alternate, because alternating is just going to keep all the injuries fresh and new from change. I don't know. What else do I have written down? Actually, the last thing that I sort of wanted to talk about on this fashion is I am, of course, going to still be playing Disco Elysium. I have been doing so, and if anybody who has been watching is also watching the vlogging, yeah, I'm not going to be stopping, even though I felt this close to being frustrated at the end of last episode. The way I'm playing the cop is the way I feel. I don't know how to act differently, to be honest, because I empathize with that person so much. I have been that person so much. I feel terrible when I'm playing that game, when I'm not laughing, or just, when I'm in the boots of, or one shoe right now, I gotta go get the other one here. When I'm in that character's shoe, I feel pathetic and horrible because I've been that guy, pathetic and horrible. I'm role-playing as myself. Again, working for self-deletion through drink, but not trying to take anyone else down with me. Trying to do my job as best I can because people are depending on me, but I'm still going to do my best to make sure I don't have responsibilities anymore. So, some of the things, options that are available, I just can't see myself doing. Now, the character has gone off the rails accidentally. The character has gone off the rails by my choice, but I tried to rein it in because I'm thinking this through with a hangover. Get it back together. This is what we're trying to do. Okay. So it feels like you've been thinking for 18 days when it's only been like 20, 30 seconds. Nobody else is really realizing that you're trying to pull it together. And I especially feel horrible. I can't remember his last name, and I can't even remember fully how to pronounce it, even if I could remember it fully, because I remember I couldn't really pronounce it properly. But his first name is Kim. And I feel like a horrible disappointment, and I don't want to be more of that. So I've found some of the avenues that are available that are closed off simply from a role-playing point of view. But others I didn't realize were still open, and I have places to go, and I can close things off and come back to other things. So I'm going to keep on a shooting, of course, because please, if you have any tips and pointers and hints, without just outright spoilers, that I'm not looking for, but anything just on this side of the line, that helps. Things that have been written in the comments, my ADHD little brain is going to do its best to remember those things. So thumbs up, thank you. But past that, I have been, I'll try that in English. When I have been out walking, I have been doing my best to try and remember the creative stuff that I've come up with, and to extrapolate and come up with new stuff, and to think about the things that I've got. Especially on my way there and back, I was thinking about cryptids. My cryptids and my cryptid setting. So I'm still always thinking about this stuff, even if I don't have what it takes to be able to build a media empire that it would be based on. It would be nice if. But I am going to edit, render, upload this video here. I'm going to continue trying to take care of myself the best I can. Tomorrow I have therapy, of course. I'm going to be talking about a lot of things, some of which I've talked about today, like the whole death is humor perception stuff, because he likes to hear about when I come up with the things that help. So, yay on that. Hopefully, you are going to be able to get done the things that you would like to get done, and if you can't, please do not beat yourself up. You deserve better, and it's not going to help you get it done next time. So, I forgot to do a lot of stuff, which is call to action, which, I was going to split up in the middle of my other things, and then I forgot about it entirely. If you can like, comment, share, subscribe, that'd be awesome. If you're a patron, you are a beautiful and awesome person. Thumbs up and thank you for your help. I am able to eat food at the end of each month because of you. Thumbs up and thank you. If you've left me a comment, you are beautiful and awesome in your own way as well. That was a lot of alliteration there. Oh, and then I sort of burped in the middle of that. Gas is leaving my body. Good thing I'm alive. A reference to, and not the gases of decay escaping from a cadaver. That's what I was referring to. It's like, luckily, that was just an organic gas escaping a living body sound and not the sound of rampant rot and decay. I don't like to think about my own death and what will happen to this poor carcass once I'm done. I don't like to think of it rotting away. I don't like to think of it. Death is nasty and awful. And the recyclers, as they do their jobs, it's terrible. It's a job that's necessary and needed, but oh my God. If you've ever watched any of the... It's not the... oh my God. When they just take one shot every X number of time of like an animal as it rots away. Death ain't pretty. Those recyclers are efficient. And I don't like watching maggots eat dead stuff. Still, when I kick off, I want to shake and bake, which is you just spend the lowest amount of money that you can on as close to a pine box as possible. Just pitch me into the fire in that thing, and then just dump the ashes wherever you can. That they aren't important at that point, and they don't need to take up space. I don't need a plot in a cemetery. So that's my views on what to do with this. It's a wonderful and beautiful body. It has served me wonderfully through 62 years. But once it has died, doesn't matter anymore. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, at least in the short term. And that is indeed a very good thing. As long a term as I possibly can. That's why I need to let some gal dig her claws into me. And I need to go out walking whether or not my heel hurts. So we'll see how that combo works. You take care, and I'll talk to y'all later. Of course, now I gotta swap over to this side because it's my left hand that I'm actually real good at using a mouse with my left. For whatever reason, just these two fingers work perfectly. I have never had an issue with this not being able to be my left click and this being my right click. So yeah, it's awesome. I don't know that I could play a game very well that way. You know, I got decades of muscle memory. Anyway, though, let me drag this over here. 27 minutes. Hokey smokes. Hey, if you've watched this far, if you could type rum tum tum into the comments. I'll see you later.